everybody, it's Vanessa, the Crafty Gemini. I post weekly videos right here on my YouTube channel, and in this video I'm sharing with you what I think is the best sewing machine for beginners. I've teamed up with my friends at Sew Vac Direct to bring you this video review, and they've also agreed to allow me to send off this sewing machine that I'll be featuring in the video to one of you lucky winners. The machine that I'm calling the best sewing machine for beginners is the Janome 2212. One of you lucky winners out there is going to receive this exact machine that I've been putting to the test. I'm going to autograph it and mail it out to you myself. For more details on how you can enter that giveaway, make sure to continue watching the rest of this video review, and I'll include more details on the giveaway entries at the end of the video. For now, let's get started with the video review on the Janome 2212. I think it's the best sewing machine for beginners, and I'm going to tell you why. Alright, now let's jump right into the video review by going over what comes in the box when you get the machine and what all you can do with it. So here is the Janome 2212. When you take it out of the box, this is what it looks like. As you can see, it's nice and lightweight, so even if you're not a beginner, if you're looking for a machine maybe to take to weekend retreats, classes, or workshops, keep watching the video because this may be a good option for you. Now, the machine comes with the foot pedal and the plug, of course. I do like that it's all connected. It's just one cord. One leads out to the foot pedal and the other one to plug it up for the electrical outlet, so you don't have to have two separate cords. So that is something good that I always look for in different machines. You also get the user manual, of course. It comes with this kind of plastic cover for you to protect it, like a dust cover. And then it also comes with this little bag of accessories. So let's show you what's in here. All right, so as far as accessories go, you have 3 bobbins, and there's 1 in the machine, so that's 4 total. You have a little pack of needles, your basic tools, a little screwdriver, and a seam ripper, okay? And then here are the different presser feet that come with the machine. This one here is going to be your basic, universal, or standard presser foot for most of your straight stitching or zigzag stitching, and even the decorative stitch options that come on the machine. This is a sliding buttonhole foot. This is your zipper foot for installing zippers, and this one here is your blind hem foot. So if you're planning on getting a machine to help you start making your own clothes, say, here you can do buttonholes and attach buttons, attaching zippers, and even hemming things with using a blind hem. So you have a lot of those different options to help you use these different tools to incorporate that in your sewing and garment making projects, okay? If you're a quilter, you can easily use the standard foot and follow the guide on the throat plate of the machine to use a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch or whatever type of seam that you need for your other types of projects. Now, if you're entering the giveaway for this machine, know that if you are the winner, you're gonna get an extra bundle that Sew Vac Direct has been so kind enough to throw in here. There's 2 packs of needles. You have a 1/4 inch presser foot, which is for, you know, the perfect 1/4 inch seam on your patchwork and quilting projects, and then 10 additional bobbins. Now let's have a look at the machine and cover some of the features that are on it. Looking at the front of the machine here, you'll see 2 different knobs. This one is your stitch selector, and here are the few different stitch options that you get on this machine. And then this one handles the stitch length. So if you want really short, tight stitches, you would have it in the lower numbers. When you're using a basting stitch or something larger, maybe for gathering fabrics or something that you just need a temporary hold, that's when you would be up here in the 4 range. Those are going to give you the longest stitch lengths, okay? So those are your different options. Notice there's no screen on here. This is not a computerized machine. This is a mechanical machine, all right? So up here, you'll see a handle as well for carrying it. There are some numbers here that show you, kind of guide you with arrows first to go from the thread spool pin here to how to thread the machine. If you've ever threaded any other machine, base models and the machines that are coming out nowadays, they pretty much all thread the same, okay? Now over here you'll see that there's 2 different spool pins for your thread. So you may be wondering why that is. Well, there's some few different things that you can do with that. I also like that they're collapsible. So if you are taking this to class or something, you don't have to run the risk of this snapping on you because they are plastic. Just kind of scoot them down and that protects that a little bit more. This is for some options of running, say, a twin needle in here for some top stitching. If you're making t-shirts and those type of projects with some stretch knits, you can run that here as well because you have space to run 2 different thread spools on your machine. This is your bobbin winder, which we all know we need a bobbin at the bottom in here in the machine. Here is your tension, here to adjust the tension. Some basic things, a few different options. It's a 4-step buttonhole that this machine offers you. 2 different needle positions. You can set the needle position in the center, by selecting A over here, and then all the way to the left by switching it over to B. Okay, a few different other options there. You can also stitch with these. This right here is your reverse or back stitch lever. So you hold that down, the machine will stitch backwards to secure or lock your stitches in place. The basic presser foot is here. You have a little blade on the side. This machine does not have an automatic needle threader, which I really don't think is a big deal. This is the little extension table that when you're sewing things like cuffs or sleeves or pants and you need something circular here to kind of sew or hem that into place, you can remove the little extension table to expose the free arm here, so you have that option as well. The bobbin on this machine is installed in the front here, and it has a metal bobbin assembly, including this bobbin case that the plastic bobbin sits in. Okay, you can see the little bobbin is in there. So you wind your bobbin, then you put it in the metal case, you run it off the side, and then this little handle needs to fit right inside the bobbin assembly in there. And when you hear that snap in place, you know that it's on correctly. Now here's a cool little feature that this machine has. If you are a quilter, or you think you may want to try your hand at free motion quilting or thread painting, or kind of a freehand machine embroidery where you want to just be able to move the fabric in here side to side any which way you want, and you don't want the feed dogs to interfere with that, then you want a machine that's going to have the option to put those feed dogs down and away. Now the feed dogs are these little metal teeth that are hidden in these two slots right here, that as the machine stitches, they kind of come up, and that's what helps feed the fabric through the machine evenly. Okay, if we disengage the feed dogs, then this is kind of a clear path for the needle to just keep going up and down, and you then can control the fabric in any direction that you want. So to disengage the feed dogs, you push down on this, and you can see it's kind of spring loaded. If I let it go all the way to the right and then snap it up into that spot, the feed dogs are down. To bring them back up for your regular sewing projects, you want to do the same thing but in the opposite direction. So scoot it down, slide it over, and let it snap back up. And if you look closely, there's these two little images here. You can't see it on camera, but when you get the machine, you'll see it. So to the left is feed dogs up, and to the right is feed dogs down. Now let me show you how to wind a bobbin on this machine. Make sure that the little spool pin is up. You're going to take your thread, load it on there, take an empty bobbin and put it right on the bobbin winding spool. Then you want to grab your thread and make sure that it goes under this little tension. It's like a spring-loaded little tension thing here. Pull it all the way to the right to make sure it's caught under there. Then come over with your string, and in a clockwise motion, I just like to wrap it around the bobbin around 5 or 6 times just to make sure that it has a good grasp on it. Cut away any excess if it's sticking out too long. Now the next thing is to turn on the machine. There it is. Grab the hand wheel and pull it away from the machine. That is going to engage the bobbin winder. And the last step is to push the bobbin into the little bobbin winder stop, like that. Now you just press the foot pedal and watch it wind the bobbin. And don't freak out if you think you kind of have to gauge it yourself. The machine will actually stop automatically once it fills the bobbin. All right, once it stops, go ahead and pull it to the left to disengage it from there. Take your bobbin off and cut it away from the thread spool. Now you're ready to install it in the bobbin case so you can start sewing. To install the bobbin, you simply take the loaded bobbin, place it in the case, and grab that thread tail until you see the little slit that's here in the bobbin case. Pull it down and around, and I want it to come out through this open slot here. You'll hear it snap. That's where you want it coming out of, and then you can go ahead and install it inside the bobbin case assembly just like this. All right, once the bobbin is in, let's go ahead and thread the machine so we can start sewing something. You want it to be going just straight from the thread spool. Number 1 is right here, so behind this guide, comes down through here, up. Here's number 2. Number 3 needs to go behind the take-up lever, and you may need to turn the hand wheel just to get the take-up lever to show up so you see what you're going behind. Bring it right down the same slot, and then under here, there's a thread guide right above the needle. So it simply goes behind that one, and then from there, inside the needle eye. And you always want to thread from the front of the needle towards the back. All right, once you have that thread tail out and through the needle eye, just put it through the center slit right on the presser foot towards the back. Now to get the bobbin thread to be coming up through here so you can actually start stitching, you want to hold on to the tail that's coming out through the needle eye up here, and then turn that hand wheel towards you, 1 full rotation, and you'll see that when you tug on this, it brings the bobbin thread up right through the opening under the presser foot. I just put something sharp, scissors, a pin, something through there to bring them both up. Now before you start sewing, you should have these two threads, one that's coming out from the needle that's up top and the other one coming down from the bobbin on the bottom. Put both of those threads towards the back, close this back up, and then return the extension table to its original position. And now you're ready to start sewing. So let me show you what you can stitch. Alright, so now let's talk about stitching and test out the stitch quality on this Janome 2212. We're going to start off with the straight stitch, which is the most basic stitch and probably what you use about 90 to 95% of the time in your projects. If I want the needle in the centermost position of the presser foot, that is selection A. So we'll move this guy over to A. And then for stitch length, I will typically use anywhere from a 2 to 2.5 most of the time. So that will land me about right there. Now to test out the stitching, I have two pieces of just 100% cotton, one on top of the other. I'm going to lower the presser foot. Now, on this machine, it's important to note that there's no actual speed control on the machine. That means that you control the speed at which the machine is stitching simply by how much pressure you apply to the foot pedal. So if you only press a little bit, it's going to stitch slow. And if you floor it, it'll go fast. Okay? The needle stops down. You just want to turn the hand wheel towards you, lift the presser foot up, and then check out the stitch quality on your stitching. Pretty nice. So you can see it's stitched through the two layers of cotton really nicely. If you're a quilter like me or you like to make different types of quilted projects, here is another sample to show you how it stitches through multiple layers. I have cotton on one side, cotton fabric on the other, and then a layer of cotton batting sandwiched in the middle. Check out how nicely this little machine stitched through these three layers of fabric, just like a quilt sandwich. The stitches look great on the front and the back, and if you notice, I only used the standard presser foot that came on the machine, so I didn't even have to use a walking foot, and there's no distortion of the quilt sandwich at the top or at the bottom. Now, just for fun, we're going to take that same quilt sandwich, and I'm just going to fold it in half and stitch through it again. So this time, say you're working with bulkier fabrics or bulkier battings, you can now see how nicely it's going to stitch through 4 layers of fabric and 2 layers of batting, meaning 6 total layers. Again, I was not using a walking foot. I'm using just the standard foot that comes on the machine, and you can see that it's stitched through that like nothing. So now let's test it out on some other fabrics. We're going to start off with some fleece here, which is quite bulky, and of course we're going to double it up so we can test it through 2 layers like we would typically use in a project. Now for bulkier fabrics, I like to lengthen the stitch a little bit just so that it flows through the machine easier. So about a 3.0 will work nicely for fleece, and let's try it and see. Really easily, quickly. No stalling at all. So you can see that the machine stitched through the 2 layers of fleece quite nicely. There's no puckering or buckling in the fabric. I didn't even use a walking foot. I used the basic standard foot on the machine again, and the stitches look great on both sides, and even when you try to open the seam. Now let's try it out on some leather, which a lot of people are hesitant to stitch through on their domestic sewing machine, but this is one of the reasons this machine I consider to be the best sewing machine for beginners, because you can grow with it and try your hand at a variety of different textiles and different projects. So watch this. We're going to take the piece of leather and fold it in half. I don't have a special foot on here. I don't have a special needle on here. We're just going to take it nice and basic with the standard presser foot on the machine and stitch right through it to see how it does. Now, as you can see, that's stitched through the leather like butter, okay? And let me show you a close-up shot so you can see the stitching. Now let me share with you the fabric that probably impressed me the most at how the machine stitches through it. This stuff is vinyl, and it's quite stiff, as you can see. It's used a lot in handbag making, straps and stuff for other different types of bags, belt making, accessories, and things like that. So, quite stiff, as you can see. I'm not using any clips or anything, so it may move a little bit on me, but we're gonna try it out and see what the stitch quality looks like when we're stitching through all this. Now, one thing to note, this machine, don't be scared to use it on bulky or more heavy-duty types of projects, because if you notice, have a look at the presser foot here. When the presser foot is down and ready to start sewing, it's hitting the bed of the machine here. When you lift it up, it lifts up a little bit, but notice what happens when I grab the presser foot and lift it up further. You see how it's going up even higher? That already tells me that this machine is ready to work with bulky projects that you probably didn't think that you can use on here to sew through. So if you need to, go ahead and hike that presser foot up. Let me move my needle out of the way. Hike that presser foot up, put your bulky project underneath there, put the presser foot back down, and now let's try it out on a sample stitch line. Now, important to note, I'm not using a specialty foot. I'm not using a specialty needle. This is the standard foot and the regular needle that came on the machine. So let's check out how it did. I would have to say that that looks pretty darn good, okay? Both sides of the fabric, here and here. Really nice stitching, and as you can see, it really holds nicely as well. So for construction purposes, you know that the machine is stitching a solid seam, and you can count on it for your sewing projects. Now, as you can imagine, the machine also does a variety of decorative stitches, including the basic zigzag stitch, which we're going to choose here by moving the selector to the letter C, okay? And changing the stitch length however long you want it to be. Presser foot down. So there is a sample zigzag stitch for you to see. A few other ones are some of the fancier decorative stitches that you can play around with. We'll choose another one. Now, the ones down here that are in orange, you'll see that you have to turn it here in the stitch length to choose those, okay? And then you can choose the letter that corresponds to the ones that are on the bottom line here. So let's try out the letter D, okay? So I'll move this to D. Presser foot down, and let's stitch it out and see. So here you can see that decorative stitch. That would look really cute around some fabric napkins, a table topper or a table runner or something like that. That would look really cute. Now let's choose one more of those decorative stitches just to show you a little variety. We are going to do the same thing. The decorative stitch that's down here, I am going to select F. Let's try that. So there it is in F. Now, as I always do in my video reviews of sewing machines, let's stitch through some denim. So this is like a light to medium weight denim. We're going to fold it up and stitch through the 2 layers. That was quite easy, as you imagined. Nice stitches. It's kind of hard to see because it's dark on dark, but we're going to fold it in half again this way. So now we're stitching through 4 layers of denim. Easy again. We'll fold it again. Now we're stitching through 8 layers of the denim, okay? Bring that needle up. At this point, it's getting quite bulky, so I'm going to use my presser foot lifter upper here to get it even higher. Presser foot back down. You can see it's having to work a little bit, but 8 layers of denim, and I don't know if I dare to fold it again. I don't know that it'll be able to get through this, but this is going to be 16 layers of denim. Can it do it? We'll try it and see. Wow. Seriously, 16 layers? This is ridiculous. 16 layers of denim. Amazing. So there it is, the proof is in the pudding. You saw the machine stitch through 16 layers of denim. Even if this is a lightweight denim, you can see that this is still ridiculously chunky for any machine to stitch through, even a heavy duty machine, okay? So you can see that if you get this machine, you definitely won't need to upgrade for quite a while because there's so many different things you can do with it that you'll be able to grow with the machine and try it out on a ton of different sewing and quilting projects. Now, aside from all those different little sample stitchings that I was just showing you in the video, I also went ahead and completed 2 different projects using only this machine to kind of see throughout an entire project how well it was able to perform. The first one was a mini quilt that I completed. I didn't even have a 1/4" presser foot on the machine. I simply used the standard foot that comes with the machine and just used the 1/4" guide that's on the throat plate of the machine, and you can see that my points look pretty close to perfect. So for quilting, it's definitely a thumbs up from me. Then I wanted to challenge it a little bit more and use a fabric that's more like a lightweight tissue knit and some jersey. And that can be sometimes tricky to sew on a lot of more entry-level and basic models of machines. This Janome 2212 had no problem stitching up this little kind of flutter sleeve crop top that I made for my daughter. Every single seam in this top was sewn on the machine. I didn't use a serger, I just stitched using the machine. I gathered everything on the front and the back, you can see, hemmed it, everything turned out really nicely. There's no puckering at the seam lines, the sleeves, nothing. It really turned out great and I was quite impressed. Again, I did not use a walking foot. I used the standard presser foot that came on the machine, which if you've ever tried to sew some tissue knits or jerseys on a machine with a regular foot, you probably have had problems before. So quite impressed. In the garment making department, it also gets a thumbs up from me. So there you have it, my complete video review of the Janome 2212 sewing machine, which I'm calling the best sewing machine for beginners. You can see from the video, you can sew through a ton of different types of fabrics, from really lightweight and even stretchy fabrics to some of the bulkier weight denims, fleece, and things like that. Now, if you are a beginner in sewing and you don't yet know if you're planning to just make clothes or you want to dabble in home decor or accessories or quilting, you can see that this machine will allow you to try your hand at a variety of projects in all those different areas, okay? Now, those are some of the pros of this sewing machine. Some of the cons, I would have to say there's probably one, and for me that's that it doesn't have any speed control that can be controlled separate from the foot pedal. What that means is that however hard you press on the foot pedal, that's how fast the machine is going to stitch. So because I'm a little bit used to some of my other machines where I don't have to do that, that's probably why you saw me kind of easing into the foot pedal, slowly starting the machine, because you can't just floor it. Sometimes you'll lose the thread out of the needle if you do that, and you kind of have to get a feel for it of how hard to start off with the presser foot, let the machine kind of warm up to the first initial stitches that it does. After that, it's off and running, as you probably already saw from watching this video. Now, if you want to enter the giveaway to win this machine that I'm going to autograph and mail off to one of you lucky winners out there, make sure to click open the description box below. That will send you over to my website where all the details on how you can enter to win that giveaway. If you decide to purchase this machine, I would really appreciate it if you use the link that I've included for you in the description box below to support our friends at Sew Vac Direct, who have been kind enough to offer up this machine to one of you lucky winners out there. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and drop me a comment in the description box below. Let me know what you thought about the machine. If you have one, let me know how you love it and what types of projects you've made with it. If you use this machine to create some projects, definitely upload pictures to my Facebook page. You can also tag me on social media using the hashtag CraftyGemini. Thanks again for watching this video. If you have some crafty friends out there who are looking to make the jump into sewing or quilting, definitely share this video with them. I'm sure they will appreciate it. Thanks again for watching this video. Don't forget to click the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Alright, so let's talk best sewing machine for beginners. This is probably my most... See what machine it is. This is the Janome 2212, and after... Alright, so to come up with this machine, which is... Now for this video review, I am now considering the best sewing machine. And you're used to cranking up the speed control and just flooring a machine on a higher level machine, then that's... I'm talking too much. Sponsor this video and actually offer one up for a giveaway. What is wrong with me today?